If you request accommodations for your pregnancy, your employer should not respond by putting you on indefinite unpaid leave. That's not an accommodation. My name is Paige Sparks. I'm an employment lawyer, and the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act allows you to request accommodations for your pregnancy. When you request accommodations for your pregnancy, your employer is required to respond and engage in what we call the interactive process. If they're not going to give you the accommodation you asked for, like working from home, they have to explore other possible available accommodations like flexing your time or allowing late start if you're extremely nauseous in the morning, for example. There are very few reasons why an employer can refuse to provide an accommodation under the act, and they have to be able to back up the reason why. So if they deny your request for accommodation because they say it's going to cause undue burden or hardship, they have to be able to explain why when I file the charge and make them explain. In my opinion, indefinite unpaid leave for a pregnancy request is never a reasonable accommodation. There's always something they can provide you to work in even a limited capacity. You should not be immediately placed on unpaid leave. The EEOC is suing U.S. Steel right now for doing exactly this. When a pregnant employee who was working in the mine requested accommodations to work on less jarring equipment just for the rest of her pregnancy, instead of letting her work any of the other jobs in her job description, they immediately just put her on unpaid leave and said, see you later. After U.S. Steel forced her to take this involuntary unpaid leave when it allowed her to return while she was still pregnant, it then placed her in an entirely different role where she was earning less. So she has ongoing lost wages damages from the unpaid leave and from being basically demoted just because she's pregnant. If you need accommodations for your pregnancy, I always recommend requesting it in writing by email. That way you can prove you requested accommodations under the act. Your employer should not retaliate against you, and they should not respond by putting you on unpaid leave without talking about it first.